Well, got another whopper of sorts at number 32, actually number 33 on my fantasy playlist of February the 13th, 2022. Valerie June, the lovely record by Valerie June called Smile. And saw this video. This is incredible. I really like the first record. Well, I guess it's off her latest album. Her latest album, wrote down the name of the album, and the latest album is called, bear with me, my notes are all over the place. It's an album that she came out with. The Moon and Stars is the name of the album. And she's going to do a Moon and Stars tour as well pretty soon, starting on March the 31st in Seattle. She's going to do some touring later on in the spring and I guess into the summer. Of course, this video being shot on February the 28th, 2022. Valerie June, boy, I tell you what, I saw this video on CMT, Country Music Channel. And first off, I got to give a big shout out to CMT. They're really stretching their playlist out, and I really love it. They're playing more. There's more African American artists who are doing country music or going into the country genre, and they're playing some of these videos, and it's just really great. It sort of reflects on the growing diversity of this country. It's just, but anyway, the first song, and they played the song, "Call Me a Fool." That's what I'm trying to say. "Call Me a Fool." They played that. That was what really hooked me on to her, the Valerie June. It was a classic blues sounding record. Old school, nostalgic too, and sounds like something sounds a little bit like from the '60s. And as a matter of fact, a woman from the '60s, she had a huge hit called "Baby." Carla Thomas sang on that record, "Baby," which came out in 1966. She's an amazing performer, good dancer, looked good in the video, smile. Now, I gotta be honest with you. When I first heard "Smile," I was disappointed initially because "Call Me a Fool" was different. It was so original. "Smile" was more mainstream. "Smile" is a little bit more, I guess maybe a little bit more radio friendly. And I was just a little disappointed in it. But then I put it on my Spotify playlist, listened to it, heard it repeatedly on CMT. This was during the summer. Actually, I saw the video again just recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's really grown on me. It's an inspirational, transcendent record. But she keeps it on the real, though. It's about taking the hard knocks. You know, life deals you these hard knocks. You know how it goes. I mean, you just get blindsided by a trauma or by even something relatively small, just knocks you down, and you just dust off. You get right back up and just go to it. I'm gonna do the quote unquote thing. I wrote down some of the lyrics of the song to give you a taste of this record. I think if you're really feeling kind of down, just kind of maybe depressed, this song has the potential to bring you up, to lift your spirits, to make you see the bigger picture of life. Quote, "Well, I dusted off. I guess I'll get back up. It was worth the fall. When the times got tough, there's a risk involved. Everything's a cost." Yeah, that's keeping it on the real right there. Some of her other quote unquote there. "You get knocked down, but that's how you grow." Well, I tell you, sometimes you just need to hear stuff like this. Man, some great lyrics in this record. She is truly, I tell you what, I deem "Smile" an original sounding record. I'll just put it like that. Valerie June, her history. She's from Tennessee, Western Tennessee. Her father was a brick cleaner, and she soaked up the local musical scene, the roots and everything, incorporated it into her musical DNA. She learned how to play the guitar, started writing songs. She began to perform professionally when she was 19 years old. She was in a husband and wife team called Bella Sun. They put out an album in 2004. When that marriage just collapsed, when they separated, she went off on her own, she moved to the West Coast, and she was playing up and down the West Coast. She was doing subways, playing at bus stations. She was a gypsy musician, playing her guitar, earning a little bit of change. And she moved back to Memphis. She learned how to play the banjo. She learned how to play the lap steel guitar. Very dedicated to music, very dedicated, learning all these musical instruments. A very skilled, very talented woman. Very talented. She recorded a couple of albums at the Ardent Studios in Memphis. I never heard of this. There was a show, a web series on MTV called $5 Cover. And she was on this show with a couple of rappers, one of them named Al Capone, and that's when she got some big exposure, big time exposure. She moved back to Memphis. She moved to Brooklyn, then moved back to Memphis. I mean, she's been all over the place, from Tennessee to the West Coast, back to Memphis, up to Brooklyn, and then back down to Memphis again. She's traveled quite a bit. She hooked up with Dan Auerbach. I hope I pronounced his name right. Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys. And you know, Black Keys kind of get into that roots too. Some of their music get into that rock and roll, get into that get into the blues bass and everything. And he produced an album of hers called Pushing Against a Stone, and that came out in 2013. She got some acclaim overseas in Europe, got played on the European radio stations. She toured with a guy named Jack Bugg. He's a British musician, songwriter. I got a couple of his songs. I know I got one of his songs on my fantasy playlist. She toured with him. Bob Dylan was an admirer. Bob Dylan gave a shout out saying that Valerie June is one of the contemporary artists that he listens to. And man, I tell you, it's just, there's a line in that song that really gets me now. I'll make it through. I'll make it through. When she goes through that, I'll make it through, her voice right there dissolves and echoes, makes the song, it adds something to the song. It layers the song with a sense of transcendence when she does that. And her voice just seems to stretch right through infinity, across the realm of space-time, the bigger picture, beyond the human ego. Yeah, this song really has grown on me. Really has. Really like this record. It's going to stay on my Spotify playlist. I'm looking over my notes to see if there's anything that I missed. Oh, Call Me a Fool. Didn't know this. Call Me a Fool earned a Grammy nomination for American Best Roots Song. Going down to the roots. And the thing about her is, now I've only heard 2 songs by her though. Call Me a Fool. I mean, it's just bluesy. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of Aretha back in the day. Got a little bit of blues and R&B, and Smile probably more of a pop record. Maybe a little bit more of a pop record, but still true to the R&B roots. A little bit of blues maybe, and I'm sure there are people out there who could describe this a lot better than I can. No doubt about that. But fact is, it's that number. Actually, I took it up into the top 10. Top 15 on my fantasy playlist. I mean, I had to see. I love the way the beginning of the song, the drum roll, boom, a hook. Yeah, just kind of brings you right in, grabs you by the collar, and just takes you right into the record. And there you are. You're on a rocket ride through a delightful record, no doubt about it. Okay, well, that's it. It's highly recommended. The radio formats for this record that would fit. I heard the term cosmic country applied to Valerie June. And that's very close because I can hear it. There is a cosmic quality. There is a cosmic vibe to this record. Pop. Could fit into R&B format, adult contemporary, adult alternative, and possibly maybe alternative. Because she's coming at this from a different sensibility. Valerie June, I love her hair too. She looks great. She's got all these different costumes that she wears in the video, and she looks great. She sounds great. She's got a great message, great record. Definitely has grown on me. At number 33, down from 28. I think I took this song up to the top 10, maybe the top 15 of my fantasy playlist a few months ago. But now going down on my fantasy playlist at number 33. Fantasy playlist of February 13th, 2022. Dean Kirk signing off. Take care.